Good morning, chat. My name is Penbu, the programming, puzzle gaming, and music making VTuber on Linux, and today we are going back to the website. Uh, what was the last time we touched this? Quite sure. It's been a while. The last time, actually, I guess it wasn't that long ago, because I remember, I think it was this year that we added these ones in. Just to give you a look at what it looks like on the website right now, we have this, which isn't that great. It's just a list. It's very bare bones, did what it needed to do. But if it's going to be a showcase, you definitely want something a little bit more flashy. So here we are. But as you can see, we only have two things here, and there are more than two things here, so we're going to have to add those in. But we're going to do a couple of things along the way to help make it easier to port these over. We're going to be upgrading to Svelte 5, which isn't strictly necessary, but we need to do an upgrade at some point anyway. Now is a good time to do it. And then also install MD specs, which allows us to have Markdown inside of or as a Svelte component. So that'll be fun, I guess, hopefully. But now, welcome in. So yeah, I actually wasn't planning on doing MD specs, but I was looking at the stuff earlier today. I figured this is what one of the pages looks like. I don't really want to do this for every page that we're going to go through, and the pages are already in Markdown. So we go here. And go to, what is it, contents, portfolio, and say one of these. All right, this is Markdown, and it's a lot easier to maintain this way than it is to have to do this whole thing. And I still get the I think I still get the control that I want out of this. So we'll see. Hopefully MD specs will actually work well for this use case, but we have to install it first. But we're going to start with the Svelte 5 migration guide, because back when we started this, Svelte 5 was now, we only had Svelte 4. Svelte 5 comes with a bunch of nice quality of life upgrades. In particular, I think runes is the big shift, and runes are for as somebody who's coming from the React side, runes are pretty nice to work with. I find them. I did question them a little bit when they came out, but having worked with runes in Owl Fudge, I do find them a lot easier to work with than the current system. Yeah, this didn't feel Svelte-like, but I think the changes for the better. So we have reactivity syntax changes, so let's now become state. So we explicitly say that this variable is state. And then instead of this obscure $: syntax, we now have a very explicit derived and effect rune. Makes things a little bit more explicit. And then we have export lets is now explicitly props, so this gets destructured. It's kind of like we have in React. And then event changes. Now they act more like your normal event attributes, event handler attributes, like in HTML. So you're just buying an on click rather than doing on : click. And then component events. This works a little bit differently now. Instead, for anyone who's familiar with React, you do it in that way where you pass down an event handler through a prop, and then you call the prop instead. So instead of working with events, you just work with functions. And then now, actually, because you have props as a single object, you can now actually just spread props. I think you were able to do this before, but there was special syntax to do that. And so now it's just normal JavaScript. Event handlers, that's fine. So in Svelte 4, you used to be able to have bind multiple event handlers using this syntax, where you just specify on click multiple times. But now you have to do a wrapper where you call all of them inside, which is not as great, I think, but it is a little bit easier to reason about. Yeah, it's a bit easier to reason about it, and you'd have to do this for other things anyway. So for example, if you're doing this in JavaScript, actually no, if you're doing this in JavaScript, you can do an add event listener and call down multiple times. So I guess you wouldn't. That's probably what this was doing in the background. But yeah, for something like React, you would have to do this, where you have to have a wrapper that calls the individual ones. So it makes sense in the context of their in the context of the changes that they've made. I do think I prefer this though. And then you have snippets instead of slots. So previously you had to define a slot, and now instead of that you have snippets, which are basically treated like they're almost like first class values, but not quite first class. But they are a little bit easier to use, I think. Default content. So now we actually have a render a children prop, where you can render the inside. So instead of having a slot, you have children instead. And then the snippets allows you to do this stuff. And we have passing data back up, the migration script. This is the important part. We don't have to make any of these changes manually. There's a script where if you have stuck pretty closely to conventions for Svelte 4, which we have, hopefully, we can just run this script and it will change the code in place. So we'll bump the dependencies, migrate to runes, migrate to the event attributes for DOM elements, migrate to slots, which I think we might actually have. So this might actually be relevant here. Migrate slots usages to snippets, and then migrate obvious component creations, which I think there's one of at the top level, possibly. And then you see the migration script converts one of your reactive statements to run function. We probably won't be seeing this, but we'll see about it if Svelte kits had anything. Event modifiers, it's fine. Things are not auto-migrated. Create event dispatcher. We didn't have any events, so this is fine. We don't have any before update, after update, I think, so that's fine too. Components are no longer classes, they are functions, which is interesting because React also did this. They went from class-based components to function-based components. Or as they call them, functional components. Or actually, are they functions, or are they just data? They might just be data. Oh, 5.9, thank you for the 18 months. It's a long time. Appreciate your loyalty, the right word here? I think loyalty is continued patronage. Sure. Continued support. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Felix, welcome in. Hello. We're just reading up on the documentation for the upgrade to Svelte 5. We are currently on Svelte 4 with SvelteKit. There is a script that will let us upgrade automatically, and hopefully it'll just work. How are you, B? Yeah, I'm doing not too bad. Not too bad. How are you? I hope you're doing well too. Mount and Hydrate have the exact same API. The difference is that Hydrate will pick up the Svelte's server rendered HTML inside its target and hydrate it. I don't think we have to worry about that. We only mount in one place, so that's at the top level, and we largely don't have to think about that because that's mostly in SvelteKit's domain. For on, instead of listing events, passing the events property, I don't think we have to deal with that either because we didn't do, yeah, we didn't do any of this. Working with some Node.js and Svelte, yeah. So Svelte, if you've ever heard of React, it's a little bit like that. It's also a front end library. Svelte is a little bit newer. I also think it's a bit cleaner and nicer to work with. It actually has been rising in popularity over the past few years. So if you've ever had any issues with React, do consider Svelte. Learn Angular a lot. Yeah, actually, I've had a tiny bit of experience in Angular. I haven't had to deal with it very much though. All these things are probably better. Yeah, I think Svelte being newer has the advantage of having learned from the ones before it. So actually, the predecessor to Svelte inspired or influenced Vue, and then the creator of that predecessor ended up changing it to what Svelte is today, or something. So historically, it actually has some pretty deep roots, but in terms of Svelte as Svelte, it is one of the newer ones. But as you can see, Svelte 5 is a thing now. And I think it's been a thing for about a year and a half now, maybe 2 years. Something like that. So the Svelte 5 is fairly mature. I mean, it depends on how you define mature, but I think it's fairly stable enough now that it's good enough to upgrade to. Making a project gallery. Yeah, kind of. So here is what's currently on the website. It's just a very basic list, but then we turned it into this last time, and it looks quite a lot better. Last two throwaway projects were Preact. Should give Svelte a shot. Yeah, I've worked with Preact too. Actually, for one, I had worked with Preact because our tech lead at the time wanted to write in something that wasn't quite as heavy as React, so he chose Preact. And then over time, I think he started feeling the limitations of Preact and then decided to just upgrade to full React. Which I get. I guess. I get the reason why you might want to use Preact, but I feel like these days you probably have better options. This component's not under control, that's fine. Server API changes, I don't think we have to deal with that. Component typing changes, hopefully the script will just deal with that, because we do have TypeScript in this repo. Don't think I've felt the limitations yet, but I also have never used full React. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, the project that I was on where we had Preact, actually I don't think I ended up working on the Preact version of it. I just heard of it because I was on another team working on a project that had Riot.js in it. Riot.js. Version not 10. I didn't realize it was already at 10. I think it was like version 4 or 3. So it's very old. Yeah, Riot.js is a lot more niche than the other ones. I don't know if I would recommend this. Yeah, don't worry about no worries about the links. They're not technically disallowed in Twitch chat. Yeah, so there was a time where I'd use this. I don't know if I would necessarily use. Actually, we did use this, and then over time as the project continued, the tech lead, who was also the same tech lead who used Preact on the other project, he ended up rewriting the project, he ended up rewriting the project and added so much stuff on top of it so that Riot.js would work more like React. And so we had this front-end library that where the docs were useless because there was so much stuff, so much custom stuff added to it that you couldn't apply any of the normal docs to whatever was in the project. But you couldn't you couldn't apply any of the React docs either because it wasn't React. It somehow worked though, but it was definitely would not recommend going in that direction either. Trying to really stick with ASP.NET Core specialization, trying to apply for jobs in that, and many of those companies use Angular. You do what you have to, I guess. I'm always of the opinion that you should be solid in your fundamentals so that no matter what the tool that's hot these days is, you have the flexibility to move between them. So it's good to know your tools. It's good to deeply understand your tools even, but you just got to make sure you have your fundamentals so that if the thing that's hot now is no longer hot in a few years, you can switch to whatever's popular afterwards. Where are we? I think I skipped a few things. Svelte component is no longer necessary. I think we have a couple of these. But I don't know if we... Yeah, I don't know if it's significant. We definitely... Actually, no, we didn't do any Svelte components, so this should be okay. We do have some Svelte namespaced tags, but I don't think it's specifically components. Dot notation indicates a component. That's fine. We don't have any of those. White space handling changed. Slightly different from native HTML rendering. I think with this, the way that we've written things, this shouldn't be an issue for us. But I do wonder why this changed. Previously, Svelte employed a very complicated algorithm to determine if white space should be kept or not. I guess this is why. The rules are white space between nodes is collapsed to one white space. White space at the start and end of a tag is removed completely. Which I guess doesn't make sense, because then it means that you can add padding or you can use new lines or whatever. Yeah. As before, you can disable white space trimming by setting preserve white space. I'm not going to do. Modern browser required. As long as... So my target is largely... was a baseline widely available. And then also graceful fallback and pale moon. So I think this should be okay. I think pale moon should have everything that's in here. Good morning, Felix. Music making VTuber on Linux, yes. If you missed the intro, is I am the programming, puzzle gaming, and music making VTuber on Linux. Good choice, no Windows. Yeah, I've been on Linux since 2014 full time, and I used Linux some years prior to that too. So it's been a while. It's Arch, by the way. No, not that one. Not that one. Neo fetch. There you go. Change to compile options. Probably don't have to deal with any of these. Children prop is reserved, as we saw earlier, but we haven't called anything children, so that's fine. Breaking changes in runes modes. Bindings to component exports are not allowed. I don't think we... No, it should be okay. Bindings need to be explicitly defined using bindable. We did see this in the Owl Fudge project, but I think we'll be okay here. Accessors option is ignored. Didn't do any of this, so that's fine. Mutable options ignored. Also didn't do anything here. Concept was replaced by how state and its variations work. Classes are no longer auto-reactive. I don't think we use this workaround anywhere, so that's fine. On Ubuntu, yeah, it's not bad. Not a bad distro, I suppose. I personally prefer Mint over the Ubuntu variants, but we've definitely got a lot of support for Ubuntu. And then Ubuntu specifically, I used to use LXDE until I found WMII, the tiling window manager that you see here. Lets me do stuff like this pretty easily. But yeah, if I were to use something else, LXD is still one of the contenders. I actually still use LXPanel for my taskbar, so I am using a couple components from it. Touch events are passive. We don't have any touches. Attribute prop syntax is stricter. Well, this is a little bit weird anyway, but that's fine. I don't think I did any of this where I have the where the number wrapped in quotes, so that's fine. HTML structure is stricter. This is kind of annoying, but I get it. So if you didn't know, the T-body, T-head, and T-foot are actually optional tags, but they will be added in the DOM. So what Svelte is saying is that you explicitly have to have a T-body here because the DOM will add it. Windows is getting worse when all is said and done, getting bad. Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that, at least for now. I will likely have to deal with that when I go back to more traditional employments. Because, well, I mean, unless I'm lucky and I find a place that has that allows Linux. Because my last place allowed Linux until it didn't, and then forced us either on Windows or Mac, and I chose Windows. But thankfully, I quit before they had started rolling out Windows 11 to everyone. So, haven't used tables in a bit since using flex grids. Yeah. I mean, generally these days you shouldn't be using tables for layout anyway. You should be using it for tabular data, which I actually have done relatively recently. And we might actually be using a proper table for Owl Fudge. We'll see about that though. Just companies I want to apply for, they aren't smart enough to use Linux. So actually, it's not even just smart enough. Sometimes it's a compliance thing. My last place was definitely smart enough to have Linux. It's just that whatever the management software that IT chose, it didn't support Linux. So we had to they had to get us off Linux, which is unfortunate. Other breaking changes, stricter at const assignment validation. I don't think I've ever actually even seen this, so that's fine. Is, has, where is scoped for CSS. Haven't used any of this, so that's fine. CSS hash position is no longer deterministic. Haven't dealt with any weird CSS selectors, so that's fine too. Yes, it can. Stuff like this. I'm not dealing with that. Anyway, we don't have any weird selectors here, so that's okay. Still sounds like a skill issue to me. A little bit. But what can you do if IT had already paid for it, I guess? I don't know. I tried to push as hard as I could for having Linux, but in the end, I just couldn't win. Because at some point, actually, they outsourced IT to a different company, and then they brought it back in house because they didn't like that IT company. But by then, I guess damage has already been done. Error warning code's been renamed. It's fine. Reduced number of namespaces. Where I don't think we've really been working with anything here, so that's fine too. Namespaces aren't actually all that relevant for HTML these days. They're a little bit more relevant if you're working XHTML, but not for HTML. Before update, after update changes, don't think we have any of those. Content editable, also don't have any of those. On event name attributes no longer accept string values, which is fine. Null and undefined become the empty string, which is nice. Find files value can only be null, undefined, or fileless. We don't have any file uploads. Bindings now react to form resets. We don't have any forms. We may have a form, actually. I do want to have a contact form. But that'll be a feature add for afterwards. Walk no longer exported. We're not digging in that low. Content is inside svelte options. The content inside svelte options forbidden. Sure, it's an empty tag. You shouldn't have anything in there. Slot elements and declarative shadow roots are preserved. We don't have any custom elements, so this is fine. Svelte element tag must be an expression. I also don't think we have anything here, so that's okay. Mount place transition by default. Good to know. Image source and add HTML hydration mismatches are not repaired. Alright. Hydration works differently. I don't think we've gone so low level as to mess with hydration, but sure. On-event attributes are delegated. Instead of on-click, you write on-click for backwards compatibility. On-event syntax is still supported. Behaves the same as Svelte 4. Some of the on-event attributes, however, are delegated, which means you need to take care to not stop event propagation on those manually. Some. Which ones? Style props uses a different element. So it used to be a div. Now it's a Svelte CSS wrapper. Probably going to be a little bit more bulletproof. Alright, so the takeaway there is npx sv migrate svelte 5. So hopefully we've gone through all that, the tool will just do it for us, and then we have to fix nothing. Hopefully. I'm gonna stash these changes. Those are mostly, those changes were just an update to the schedule, which is now out of date anyway. We're gonna go ahead and run npx sv migrate svelte 5, and then just let it run. So update files in your current directory. If you're inside a monorepo, don't run this in the root. We are not, so this is fine. Continue, yes please. Folders should be migrated, all of them, I think. I don't think we have anything here, so that's fine. We actually don't need... I mean, we can have it anyway. We can have it anyway. There's no svelte files in there, so just do nothing. Sure. Do you want to use migration tool to convert your svelte components to the new syntax? Yes. Project has been migrated. Install the updated dependencies by running npm I. Note that there may be pure dependency issues. That's fine. Migration to svelte 5. This breaks all sorts of commit conventions. We're gonna make our own message. View the migration guide. Aren't you supposed to read this first before you run the migration? Aren't you supposed to do git diff before you do this? Okay, I'm gonna do that in a completely different order. We're gonna do a git diff to see what it changed. Good thing it has migration tools. Yeah, it's always nice when a project has a migration tool that automates everything. Interface props hide logo boolean. Sure. Interface props. Let href text as props that. Let headings equals that. Derived. I don't remember doing this, but yes. Let href, let props. Oh, because we had this. Okay, so this was the old syntax for the special $$ props, but now you have this instead. I wonder why I did this instead of just let props equals $ props. But okay, I'm not gonna question it. Let events page import svelte.snippet. I'm a little bit... I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I might change this. Surely I can just have that as a type. We're gonna have a look at that. It's gonna be in this here. And then instead of import svelte, we're going to be import type snippets from svelte. And then we're going to have this. And then watch as... actually, hold on. We're not going to do that now. We're going to change our... We're going to commit it as is, and then we're going to fix it up later. Because I want to make sure that this actually works first, before we introduce our own changes. Table of contents, headings, page data, headings. Because page is now what? Page from App Store states. Yeah, because there's... They moved from stores to state now. Because it's spelled... Yeah, okay. Render children. Let data is this, let data is that, that's fine. Script lang ts props, render children. So unfortunately this also does mean that because we now have @render children, it's now required to have a script tag where previously wouldn't have to. So there's a little bit of added extra boilerplates to these now, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's fine. So we'll just have to go through all of these, change them to import type snippets from svelte. I'm surprised it didn't do that, but okay. If page.data title, this is from that, just fine. Script lang ts. Why do you use... What happened to... Actually, this might... No. This... Okay, well, we'll fix that indentation too. But so far, the changes look reasonable. Then we're going to go ahead and npm install this. Alright. Because we need to upgrade other stuff. Git -a, git commit partially upgrade to svelte 5. Output what did we run? npx sv migrate svelte 5. results of running this. So now that we have something, and now we can deal with stuff. All right, 59. I missed this earlier, but good night. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah. Okay. So we have this. I think we need to do a couple more upgrades. So npm. This is updates. We don't want to have done this. Just update everything. Where's an npm upgrade? No, it's npm updates. Well, upgrade is also the same thing. We do want to update pretty much everything here, so force. I know Yarn had an interface that was nicer for upgrading, where it's I don't remember what it's called now, but it let you see what the upgrades were and then select them individually. This is gonna take a while. True, unless using npm updates where it defaults to false. But we want it to save. So well, hold on. So npm upgrade. Well, hold on. So current for. I think I'm a couple of versions behind. Okay, so 11.10. Sure. We're gonna run npm upgrade because apparently npm update has it as false. "13 vulnerabilities." Svelte kits 0.30, which is a breaking change. We do want to upgrade Svelte kit though. We install Vt 8, which is also a breaking change. That's fine. Oh, but we do hold up. Svelte kit upgrade. Is there a way we can just upgrade to Svelte kit 2? Or Svelte kit 3? Because I think, what are we at now? What version of Svelte kit are we on? Oh, actually, yeah, no, this is. Yeah, no, Svelte kits. I remember because what was it? Owl Fudge is on the newer version of Svelte kit as well. And it works a little bit differently than what we have in here. So we might actually have to do a Svelte kit upgrade too. Svelte kit 2.12 app stores is deprecated. Oh, but we're already here. App states. I mean, it already did that then. It already upgraded us to that. Git diff. Svelte kits 265. Just fine. Adapter auto. I guess I didn't need all of that anymore. TypeScript, ESLint. Hold on. Not the long. I shouldn't be looking at the package long. Git diff package.json. Where we have adapter auto, adapter kit, and v plugin svelte. and then ESLint plugin, parser, ESLint plugin, svelte, Sass, svelte check. I don't think Sass is the one that we want to be using anymore. Svelte check, svelte pre-process, tslib, TypeScript, and Vite. Whereas over in Fudge, packages, UI, package.json, we have Sass embedded. Might have to change that out, but that'll be a later thing. Update packages. Update dependencies. Okay, so we are presumably up to date now. We're not on proper versions yet. npm audit fix force git add git commit. You see, the problem with that is that I did that one time, and then it actually downgraded a bunch of packages, so that's, and then it broke everything. Welcome in, Aura. Come on. Okay. I suppose the reason for this is that Svelte 5 is not actually installed. Oh, but it is. But it is. Node modules go hunting in here. Svelte JS Svelte package.json 556.3. That's what this says. I think actually, oh, maybe it's, I have to restart this. That would make sense. I have to restart the server because it's still on the old one. And there we go. We have the site back up and running. So unfortunately now we have a commit that doesn't actually build properly, but oh well. Oh well. I'm not too fussed about that, I think. So now we can go ahead and look at this. Snippets. Everywhere we see snippets. Well, we'll see first if this works, because if it does, then great, we don't have to, we changed everything to use that. No scopable elements found in template. If you're using global styles in this tag, you should move it to an external style sheet, export and import it into a thing. Which I actually should do because I want to use this for something else. Image element should have an alt attribute, sure. But that's fine, we'll deal with that later. So basically we're going to go up the layouts, the layout tree, go find all these, and these should all be imports type snippets from Svelte. And we do that. And go up the layout tree again, find this. I should just be copy and pasting these actually. Imports, type, and then do that, because I can actually do that. Take that. And then we go back here, there should be layout.svelte here. import type this and that. This. Take that. Do we have any more? Gig rep snippets. I think this is all good. And just to run it again, just in case. We have no errors, so I think this is good. Git commit, git add -u, git commit m, git diff cached. See what's in here. We gotta fix this indentation. We'll do that later. Git commit import snippets type directly. Don't use dynamic import. Where they're unnecessary, because we would rather use the static imports where we can rather than dynamic imports. Alright, so now we figure out where this is. Okay, so it's over here. Let's expand tab. There was a thing where you can convert... Oh, retab. That's what it was. Retab. Replace all sequences of whitespace containing a tab with new strings of whitespace using new tab stop. Yep. So this is what we wanted. Take that. Take this. I am indeed using Vim. I've been using Vim for longer than I've been using Linux, actually. 2012? 2011? 2012? Something like that. Actually, to say that I've been using Vim longer than Linux is a little bit of a... is a little bit misleading, because the reason I found Vim was because I was on Linux full-time at the time anyway. So I think it was around 2010-ish. My dad had asked me to build a computer, and he didn't want to pay for Windows. The Windows 7 was out at the time. So he installed OpenSUSE on it. I think it was OpenSUSE 11 or 12. And so we used that for a few years, then he got fed up with it and dual booted Windows on it. But in those couple of years where OpenSUSE was the only operating system on the machine, I got to learn Linux and all the stuff that came with it, which is why I'm using Linux today. But yeah, one of the things that was there was Vim. I don't remember how I picked up Vim or how I found it, but now I don't want to. Now I don't want to use anything else other than Vim, except for ED, which I do use on occasion, because this is actually fairly useful in some niche cases. Okay, so we have that. Git status, git commit, fix indentation on root layout. Tabs are these Svelte 5 upgrade tool inserted tabs for indentation. I know you can't see what's behind me here. As it inserted tabs for indentation, probably because it couldn't detect what the existing indentation was for. Likely because it couldn't detect the existing indentation. Making it more verbose descriptive, basically, the one you said earlier, commit broke a lot of conventions. Yeah, so let me send you a link here. Chris Bean's commits message. If you've never read this article, it's very good very good article on how to write good commit messages. And this is important because if you look back at your commits a few years later, or even a few months later, you'll be glad you had written some very descriptive commit messages, because then it means you actually know, you can figure out what it was that you were thinking of when you were making this commit. Yeah, you wind up not knowing what you're talking about. Yeah, I've definitely fallen trapped to this in many cases where I've just been lazy about my commit messages. But yeah, it's worth it to take the time to be a little bit more verbose and a little bit more explanatory in your commit messages. Migrated is bad, yeah. Not only is it not very descriptive about what it is that you migrated, it also breaks the convention where your commit messages, your subject line should be written in the imperative sense, where it's like a command. So you'd say migrate it rather than migrated it. It reads better based on how Git presents messages or something. But yeah, so instead of saying migrated it, you could say something like migrate to Svelte 5, and then in the body you can say this is the tool that you used. You follow this migration guide and whatever. Or you can even say why you wanted to migrate. Things like that. There is a thing. I think there's definitely there's a point where you have diminishing returns, but it never hurts if you have the time. It never hurts to be verbose, because I don't think there's much of a limit on how big your commit messages can be. Just be ranty about things. Well, I think there's also a limit to that too, because there is a point where you can say so much that you have lost the point, where you have to go digging in the information that you put in. So everything that you put in there should be helpful, and then no more. The reason I'm committing right now is 7 paragraphs. Actually, if you look in the Linux commit messages, I wonder if they can find Linux git commit messages or git commits, git repo. Because if you look in the git repo for Linux is perhaps one of the best examples of good commit messages. Obviously, because Torvalds is the one who made Git, and so he knows what all the conventions are. Okay, none of these are. Sometimes you get actual paragraphs of stuff. Maybe find one by or maybe not Torvalds. I don't know. Somewhere in here, if you look at the commit messages, there are some pretty long ones in there. But they are very much not shy about putting in detail, which is pretty important for a project that large and for something that's that important as well. It's you would hope that they have good change tracking, and good change tracking includes having documented reasons for your changes. They're also very picky about atomic commits and all that. So if there's a repo to learn from is how to maintain a good Git repo, that's the Linux repo. Though there probably are some smaller ones too that are a little bit easier to learn from. What are we looking at? This should probably be in a global style sheet, like what this says. But I don't have to deal with that right now. Let children props. I mean, that's what this says, yes. But you still have to have this. I mean, I suppose you could do like this, but that's fine. This one is a little bit shorter. If we go look in the Vt config, we actually haven't changed anything here. We have plugin svelte kits. Oh, did it remove? Did it remove anything to do with SAS? SAS embedded, hold on. Am I the right thing? SAS embedded. Well, that's new. But it didn't upgrade it here. Well, it hasn't been touched since this one, so I guess not. Alright, whatever. And it somehow just works, I guess. So can Vim basically run bash commands like on the bottom? Yes, it can. So you can do things like this, where you say, I don't know, fortune cause, and then you can run a command like that, or you can even insert it like fortune cause, and then you can insert it in there. And then, well, I guess you're an ad, so I will wait until ads are done. Right, so we're going to look at MD specs. So what this does... Actually, I should wait until Twitch is out of ads before I continue here. But so yeah, so far this looks okay. I don't know if I want to keep this. I feel like I don't. Especially since our pages aren't going to be that large anyway. One moment, my tracking phone decided to fall off. I need to reapply the tape on this thing. Oh, I should hold for now. Okay. In the meantime, though, I will change this to... the header, go to here instead of projects. The nav header, we go to here. And I don't have the svelte bindings for Linux, or for Vim. I should do that. I'm gonna change this to music. I'm gonna change this to music. Git move source routes footer header projects. We're going to change this from projects to music because it's going to be better that way. Source live nav header. Oh, because of course I have to change a bunch of stuff now. We go here, we go to here, we go to here, page svelte, yes. I should be doing it like this. Cannot resolve this with a non-absolute path name. Okay, that's fine. Projects, music. To do that, do this. I want this to have a slash, and I think that changed, didn't it? I kind of need that to have a slash, because that breaks a couple things. And my navigation is broken. My navigation is broken because we need to fix that. So again, it's just you don't want to rush it. You want to do it and do it the right way. Yeah, that's generally my my philosophy on software changes. It's a lot. In my opinion, it's worth it to take the time to do it right the first time than have to fix it later. Because if you fix it late, if you try to fix it later, you will have built stuff on top that might be hard to adapt to whatever fixes you need, and also you just have something more robust out of the gate rather than something that might break if you do it if you just get something that just works without doing it properly. Now, there is a time and place for tech debts, where you do have to take on a little bit of messiness, but you have to do it with the intention of paying it back later. Right? You don't want to accumulate debt. You take on a bit of debt and then you pay it back later. Yeah, crunch is a big excuse. I'm not a big fan of the crunch excuse. Like, yeah, sure, you have a deadline, but most of the time deadlines are flexible and you can just move them forward. And a lot of times deadlines are artificial anyway. So I don't know. I get it. I kind of get it from a business perspective too, but also, put it in the to-do notes everywhere. Yeah, because what happens is, and I've seen this play out in like IRL as well. You have a bunch of tech debt. You say you're gonna do this, and then corporate asks for features, and then those features get prioritized instead of the tech debt that you said you pay back, and you just the cycle continues. And unless you push for the tech debts to be resolved and to actually be worked on, you're just going to keep on piling features and accumulating debt. And so yes, perhaps this is a little bit of a management failing as well, but it's a little bit hard to convince management that, unless they're technical, and even then, sometimes even if they are technical, you have to push back on sales, which is a little bit harder. You got to make sure that sales doesn't start promising things that you don't actually have, and which result in you having to build something. But yeah, anyway, where was I going with that? Yeah, tech debt. It's just be very careful about tech debt and make sure that you actually pay, like resolve tech debt, and not try to pile everything on. Have you worked at companies and teams where security was like number one, like bank sort of thing? I can't say I have. I think there was one fairly security conscious company that I had, that I worked with, but I wasn't really working with code. I was IT at the time, so it didn't really affect me much. One of the companies that I worked for was SOC 2 compliant because they handled payments or something, or some sort of sensitive data. So there was that kind of security, but not to the level of banks, I think. So we had to be SOC 2 compliant, which is also why we had to have that management software that required us to use Windows. But yeah, not to the level of banks where everything is locked down or whatever. So yeah, resolve routes. So what we did this during the break. I need to fix the schedule. Schedule is broken. Yeah, we changed it from projects to music, which is actually how it currently is on the website. On this, well, it says music here. It still says portfolio there because I don't have a way of making server-side redirect here. Mr. E, welcome in. How's it coming? We've just completed an upgrade and the upgrade is broken slightly, but most of it is good. full Linux learn Vim, or is that not really expected because you've been using Linux since 2014, so like me or eons past me? Yeah, it's just a matter of experience. I have done a Vim learning session a couple times at work. I don't know how well that translates to stream, because that was an interactive session, and it was expected that people were there from the start. But for stream, you can make it interactive, but the problem is people hop in and hop out at any point. So somebody can come in when you're halfway through, and then they somehow need to be caught up, and that doesn't really work very well. But if any of you do want to check out the Discord, you can definitely ask questions about Vim there. We have a channel for Linux and programming where Vim would probably fit in more with the Linux. But yeah, if you have any questions after stream, you can definitely ask them there. Okay, so we've changed projects to music. And this is where my commit message will want to say why I want to change it to music. Change projects route to music. It makes more sense from a marketing perspective to have only music projects on this page, especially since music will be the majority of the content on this page. If I want to highlight software projects in the future, Fudge being one of them, they can go on a separate page. Yes, I can do that. I do indeed make music. Yeah, it's music is actually a third of my content. Tomorrow, I forgot to put in the next stream thumbnail. Let me do that in a bit, and I can show you what we're doing here. Composition Luminary, except this is actually an arrangement. Tomorrow we're going to be arranging Luminary for concert bands. Luminary is a song by Jelly Hoshiyumi. It was her debut song. It's been a few years now, actually. But yeah, this is part 5. We've got a couple more streams of this left to go, so I think there's still a lot left to do. But yeah, if you want to go check that out, that's going to be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Using Reaper, I moved away from Windows to get away from online authentication walls ever. I use that a lot for making music where you can stand the subscription model walls. Subscription model, yeah. I use MuseScore because I like to work in music notation, so I prefer to use a score writer. MuseScore being the free one, of course. If I have to use a DAW, and which I do use for recording covers and stuff, I will use Ardor. Ardor, if you get it from one of the Linux repos, is free. Ardor, of course, is free and open source. If you get it from the website, especially if you're getting it for Windows, they do request that you pay a little bit for it. You can pay as little as $1, and then you get upgrades for the current major version. And I think if you pay above a certain amount, you get upgrades for this version and then the next version as well. Yeah, good software. Yeah, I think Ardor definitely has its quirks, but I do like it overall. And I haven't upgraded to the latest version yet, but I hear in the most recent major version, they have added a window for the MIDI piano roll instead of having to have it just in the main window, which is very nice because there have been times where I want to reference something, but my window isn't tall enough to see everything. So it's good to be able to pop that out. Okay, so that's that. Right, I was in the middle of explaining something and then ads happens. What was I talking about earlier? Oh yeah, the terminal in Vim. So actually Vim has a built-in terminal as well. If you type in terminal, and then you get an actual terminal that you can type stuff in. I don't use it because I think tmux, working in tmux is a little bit nicer than the Vim terminal, but that is a use case that you can, that is a feature that you can use if you wanted to. I just don't want to use any artistic software anymore that requires login updates. Yeah. I am not a big fan of the software subscription model myself, so I get that. Right, okay, MD specs was the next one. So the reason I want to consider using this is because the current content on the current site is all markdown. And so if I want to have an easy time moving this all over, instead of changing it to all this HTML, I can just port over the markdown file as is, or more or less as is, and yeah, just copy them over. So MD specs is the way to do that. And actually the Svelte blog is written in a way that uses MD specs. If you look for the GitHub, nope, not that. Svelte blog website, svelte.dev. This one. Yeah, so if we look over here, it might be here, it might be here. Not here. Content, blog. Right, these are all markdown files. And I'm pretty sure they use MD specs to do the actual heavy lifting here. So we go into the package JSON. MD, they aren't using MD specs. Never mind. I guess not. What are they using? MD, markdown. Maybe they are, and then they're just routes, blog, page, svelte. Starts with what's new, not that. No, we care. Post.metadata, HTML, byline. Now it's possible they do some pre-processing here. I looked at this and I thought they were using MD specs, but I guess not. Data, props, byline, setup, docs, hovers, text. Data.body. Okay, data.body comes from page server. Find this error body or replace document render content. Render content comes from here. No, go back. Server renderer over here. Render content markdown from SvelteKit markdown. Wait, hold up. They have a markdown parser? Why do I need MD specs then? Oh, SiteKit. Where does svelte.js come from then? So maybe this is where... Maybe this is where they get their stuff from. Maybe this is where MD specs comes in. No, this is not where MD specs comes in. Because they're using marked instead of MD specs. This might predate MD specs, possibly. Yeah, this all looks very custom. Well, in any case, SV now has support for MD specs as an add-on, so I think this makes sense. Right, it's right there. SV adds MD specs. So MD specs, I believe that is the recommended way to try to do this kind of thing. Migrate. Which migration? Well, it's the same thing. SV migrate spelts. Now it's entirely possible that we don't need to do anything here because I think, yeah, because we already have the Svelte 5 migration. Do we need the SvelteKit 2 migration? Because we're already on SvelteKit 2, I think. Because this is... Yeah, because it says migrate to SvelteKit 4 first, so we had SvelteKit 2 already, and then we had SvelteKit 4. Or sorry, Svelte 4. I think we're probably good. Yeah, we're already on SvelteKit 2, so we're fine. npx sv adds md specs. npx. No, I'm not using this correctly. What do we need here? sv creates sv adds. Critter, ESLint, whatever, I don't really care. This is probably okay. We're gonna add ND specs with yarn, or sorry, with npm, because we have npm in this project. You get status, get diff. It added NB specs and then added the package.json, and then in here we have Svelte preprocess, ND specs, extensions, SVX, and then MD. We're probably going to be using the SVX. Yeah, we're probably going to be using SVX so that we can use our Svelte kits, or our Svelte's. Oh, but with syntax highlighting. This is fine. Adapter auto. This should be okay. I wonder then where we got our Sass. Hold on, git log-p svelte config.js. Ooh, that's how. I actually probably don't need this anymore because Vite preprocess has support for Sass now. But it works, so maybe I don't need to touch anything. It's probably fine. But now that we have MD specs, then we need to see how to use this one. Install MD specs. MD specs enables the use of markdown files for contents. This is useful as the old pages were, as the pages on the old site were written in markdown. So this will ease migration and simplify page authoring in the future. So ease migration now and simplify page authoring in the future. MD specs also allows the use of svelte components, so no functionality is lost by writing in Markdown. This, by the way, that whole thing there is why I write the command, or sorry, I write the message out in the command line, because if something goes wrong, then at least I still have the message in my history. Whereas if you write it in your editor, you might end up losing that message. So the way I do it, I do a -m for every paragraph that I want, and then I'd add a -e at the end, so pull up the editor and have the editor do the wrapping. Okay, so we run dev. That should hopefully have things, and then we can just move things over. So for example, if we copy over now, this isn't going to work properly, but content, blog, not blog, portfolio. Let's say what's next here? Looking back? Sure, looking back. And we put that into content, source, routes, footer, header, music. Make the directory. Looking back, and then header, music, looking back, plus page.md. And we'll see how that reacts. Surprisingly alright. I mean, it doesn't do this, but that's fine. That's fine. We just have to fix things. Because it doesn't actually recognize that as front matter at the moment. We need to... I want to write this in Tamil. So we're actually going to do this. So this section here is called the front matter. It gives, it lets you put in some metadata about the page. I actually have to figure out how to do that, because right now the way that it's working is that we have... Why are you broken? The way it's currently doing that is we have a page.ts that has the data in here. It would be nice if I could load that into the front matter and then figure out how to get the layout to expose that. We might not be able to, but we'll see. Sloppy imports not allowed. What do you mean? Sloppy imports are not allowed. I'm not even in Dino though. Oh, no, this is fine. Don't worry about that. That's fine. So I do want to go into svelte config.js. We have here svelte pre-pros. No, this is fine. Well, it's been working up until now, so this should be okay. All right, because it is already. No, it's fine. It's a no list. This has been indented with tabs. It's fine. I actually do prefer tabs for indentation. I don't ever do it, but ideologically I do prefer tabs. You have alignment with spaces, but tabs for indentation makes sense to me. JS doc types may be moved to TypeScript types. You are correct. Except this is .js, so I would have to change it to .ts. MD's specs. We're looking at a way to insert toml. I'll take this code. I'm gonna use this. We're going to turn this into... Actually, do I care? I'm not sure I care enough. I do care a little bit. Parsing online. E.line. Because we can do this. We can use our modern features. And do this. It's gonna look a little bit nicer. I suspect the reason they didn't do this is because it ends up being kind of long, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. Now toml doesn't exist, and we have to import toml. Front matter implicitly has any type. So right now you're basically making a portfolio website, sort of. So actually we already have the website here. This is what exists on the site now, and we're just porting it over. Because this is where I put all my releases for the music. And so the reason why we're porting it over and why we're making this in SvelteKit is largely actually because of the schedule. So the schedule here is all handwritten HTML and JS. And it's a little bit hacky. It's not that the whatever I wrote is improper, but so this website was written in Zola. We'll pull it up on GitHub here. /penbuvt.github.io. It's written with a static site generator called Zola. And what I did with this is basically for the schedule, I just entirely bypassed Zola and wrote my own thing. So I figured if I was going to do that anyway, I may as well just write it in a proper JS framework so that I can actually use components and stuff. Zola is good. It's just I think for what I wanted to do with it, it just gets in the way. So we're just rewriting things in SvelteKit instead. No framework, I do raw JS. Yeah, so I am of the opinion that if you don't need to pull in a tool, don't bother. If whatever you have vanilla is good enough, then you should just use that. So that's why I wrote it like this, right? I have Zola as a static site generator because it makes things a lot simpler to do it that way. Zola gets zola.org, I think it was. Yeah, so if any of you want to look into this, it is a single binary, which is very, very nice for making static sites with other people, especially those who might not be too familiar with programming and programming environments, because this being a single binary means you don't have to tell people how to install Ruby, or you don't have to install Node or whatever else you need. So this is very convenient. It's just that for what I would need it to do, it gets in the way a little bit. No dependencies thing is nice. Is it a minified JS file? I think it's written in, is it Go or is it Rust? One of those languages, I think. It's Rust. Yeah, it's written in Rust. Of course, it's Rust. But no, it's just a single Rust binary. They were looking to be creative. I don't know if they would. I don't know if creative is necessarily the right thing to say there. It might have just been that Rust was the right tool for the job. Because at least, you know, if you're setting out to have a single binary, then it doesn't make sense to have something like Node or so Node is what SvelteKit runs on. Ruby is what Jekyll runs on. There's probably a Python thing out there, but for all of those, you have to install the runtime. And if you bundle the runtime in the binary, then your binary blows up. So writing it in a language that naturally compiles down to a binary, in this case, I think makes sense. And then having it in Rust with all the Rust safetiness and all that safety features, it makes sense to do it in Rust. Not that other languages couldn't have been a consideration, but I think Rust in this case is probably to their benefit. Okay, so we have here parse front matter. Front matter, I think, is a string, and messages is array. Array of strings, it looks like. Oh, but it's JavaScript, so actually I don't have to care about this, so that's fine. Rust for web development is really interesting. Yeah, I actually heard if you compile to WASM, you might actually be able to squeeze out more performance out of a Rust implementation than a pure JavaScript implementation, which is interesting. To run the back end or something, or like run the front end. So actually doing DOM manipulation stuff in Rust. So running. So if you're not familiar with the with what WASM is WebAssembly, and it's basically machine code but running in the browser, sort of. And so you have WASM as a compile target, where you can write in any language and then you can compile that to WASM. And then that'll run in the browser. But WASM has certain limitations, like you can't actually manipulate DOM nodes and stuff. But apparently, even with the wrapper, so you do have to write a wrapper so that you can actually interact with the DOM in WASM. But even with that wrapper, apparently Rust just outperforms JS in some applications. So it's definitely an interesting case. I was using raylib once. Actually, no, I've heard this name before. Raylib. Okay, game programming library. WASM are things for making games that will run in the browser, but be able to WebGL and not for manipulating DOM elements. Yeah, basically, if you have something that, if you have codes that is more optimized for in another language, or so for example, if you have some really heavy calculations or whatever, it might be better to write that in C or Rust or some other language like that. And have that crunch the calculations and then pass it back to JavaScript land. So, which is the reason why you have stuff like raylib, or I guess there's probably some sort of GL libraries for it as well. Things where it makes sense to do things faster, basically. So we have this, and then with that, hopefully, it means that we actually get this again. We're going to do that, restart that, and this is still here. Am I missing something? Object literal may only specify known properties. Marker does not exist in type. In type what? ND specs options. Did I do this wrong? No, this is in the object. Okay, what version MD specs? I have the latest version. I just installed it. Message isn't sent. You can try to send it again. Parsing is successful. Front matter. Oh, because it has to be in a front matter. Front matter. And then you do this. And they put this in here. And then you do that. Okay, so this should work now. Property type is missing in that stuff. Parse marker, but there's no type in there. Marker option defines the depends for front matter. This defaults to dash. Corresponds to the standard triple hyphen syntax. Passing custom string to change it. Now you use +++. Setting only the marker will keep the default front matter parser to which only supports YAML, which is fine. TOML doesn't exist, which is what I expect. So npm install TOML. Or at least I hope that's the, it should be. And the reason why I want TOML instead of YAML is because TOML is nicer to work with. And also because Zola uses TOML, so I don't have to change anything. Imports TOML from TOML. So then hopefully that's fine. Arguments of type string is not assignable to type a v file message. I don't think that's correct. Because that's what you have here. This is a string. Is it not? That's a string. Well, whatever. Error while processing this, expected node got object. I expect it might be because of... We go here. No, that's the old stuff. We go here. And looking back, page.md. Make it through page.svelte, not this one, page.ts. It's possible that we just need one of these, and so for now, I will add that in. Even though we'll try to find some way that we don't need to do this. Page.ts. Copy this. Copy that. But I don't think that's what it is. I don't think that's the issue here. And the reason for it is because... what if we did... that? Okay, so there's definitely something about this. Expected node got object. Because Toml needs a top level thing? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Front matter. Action on a file declared in the front matter. Title, author. I don't think this matters. Error while pre-processing this got object. At 1, all root 1, 2 hast. For transformer wrapped, next done then. It would be nice to know what this was. What is the object? Additionally, all these variables are exported as a single object named metadata from the context module script so they can easily be imported into JavaScript. Okay, am I actually just using this wrong? I might be using this wrong. So app.svx, sure. Number, title, ooh, this is nice. That's nice. Just gonna let that thing run there. Fun. Section SVX. So import sections, which is nice. Widgets inline, because why shouldn't you? Access to values defined in YAML, anything defined in JS exec block can reference directly. JS exec. I mean, I guess it would be the script here. That makes sense. Count, because why shouldn't you? Yeah, that makes sense. Count, color, list blue. And that just ends up being a thing there. Error while pre-processing this. Got expected node got that. Is it because... is it because of the layout? Is it the layout that the issue there that has the issue? Didn't want a JavaScript. So what I'm seeing here is that if it got object, it means the object got turned into a string for whatever reason. I have no idea what that reason would be. Now it could be this, could be this. I might have to turn that into that. Which doesn't seem to be, it doesn't seem to be the case. V plugin svelte. Oh, is that why? Because svelte is trying to... No, it shouldn't be. Maybe it is. Cast in something else, want something? No, I think it's... I think there's an issue with the resolvers, the transformers. So I think we might actually just have this in the wrong order. So we install, we use preprocess and MD specs config here. It may be the case that we need to put in MD specs first before we do the preprocessing. That's possible. I'm gonna go ahead and restart the server. And that didn't fix it. I need a thing on MD specs. How do you use this? And configure it in your svelte config.js. I presumably would have put it in the right spot. Right? Right? Now, it could be that we can do the beat preprocess. Because this thing has SAS now. So we can change to beat preprocess. Half of all this is what the framework wants, seems like. Yeah. Sometimes when you're using a framework, it's just a matter of how do you fit things in so that it works well with the framework. And if you're not familiar with how the framework works, you gotta dig into things a little bit. This is my first time using the MD specs, so I'm strap in for a little bit of debugging here. And not to mention that this is an older code base, so that we're actually migrating from an older version of SvelteKit and Svelte itself, which changes things a little bit. Use vpreprocess script true if your project is before Svelte 5 if your advanced TypeScript features that emit code. Do we have enums? Do we have enums? Oh, okay, we do not have enums, which is good. I like using the interesting stuff. Kind of. More of I feel like MD specs is probably the right tool for the job, and so I'm pulling it in. I mentioned this earlier, but I'm not the type to just use a tool just because I can. I use a tool because I need it. And in this case, the reason I want MD specs is because we have existing pages written in Markdown, and it's going to make it a whole lot easier to port them over if we can just copy and paste them. TypeScript is supported natively in Svelte 5, so if you're using Svelte 5 and you don't need to use advanced TypeScript features that emit code, you probably don't need to use vpreprocess. Except we do because we need SAS. So we do. Svelte preprocess has some additional functionality not found in vpreprocess, such as support for Pug, Babel, and global styles. Global styles. Do we need that? No, probably not. I mean, yes, but also no. Oh, it should be fine. I don't know. Perhaps we don't need this. Plugin Svelte also exports vpreprocessors to preprocess Svelte components using built-in transformers. Compared to Svelte preprocess, vpreprocessors share the same CSS configuration from the vconfig, so you don't have to configure them twice. Yes, build is also used to transform TypeScript. However, Svelte preprocess does provide extra functionalities not available with vpreprocess, such as template tag. I don't think I need that. I don't use that. External files. I also don't need this. Global styles would be nice, but I'm not actually using that. Though it's recommended to use import instead. So I actually don't need that. If those features require, you can still use svelte process, but make sure to turn off its script and style pre-processing options. Okay, so we're going to attempt. Actually, I'm going to commit this first. Install toml. Hold on. Git status. Git add -u. Git commit. Interprets front matter. Markdown front matter as. Zola front matter is written in toml. So interpreting the front matter as toml will ease migration. Toml is also a nicer format to write in than YAML. Okay. So there's that. I mean, the commit's technically broken, but whatever. So we're going to try to move this back to Vite preprocess and see what happens. Because this is what it used to look like. If you're going to take this. I'm going to disable the error checking for the buffer here because it's just getting in the way a little bit. This is a JavaScript file, if you're going to take that. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to turn this into a Vite preprocess. That's probably fine. And it'll probably work. Just gonna restart the dev server just to be safe here. I probably don't need it, but okay. What if we just get rid of the front matter altogether? That's not a comment, but it works. And I think the Sass stuff works too. I mean, it clearly does, because when we see this, and all this stuff is written in Sass, so what if we change it to Sass embedded? Reference only captures initial value events to rename that. Deprecation warning. Legacy JS API is deprecated removed in Dart Sass 2.0. Which one? Question, go ahead. No scopable elements, unused CSS selector H1, 2, 3, that's fine. Legacy JS API is deprecated removed Dart Sass 2.0. For a portfolio website, you basically don't need a background database. If it was only this, then no, because there's also just static pages. But there are a couple of features from the schedule page that I would want to have a little bit of a backend for, mostly to do with fetching previous schedules. But also things like server-side redirects would be nice to have. Although technically for server-side redirects, because the plan is to deploy this to Cloudflare Pages, and Cloudflare Pages has a way to do those redirects. So I technically don't need it for that. But I do want the flexibility of having the option of a backend for things like the schedule. But yeah, for this specifically, these pages, you don't need it. So, what is this? Do I need this? SAS embedded, do I need that? Because we had looked at this for for the, what do you call it, the owl fudge one. The V preprocess into this kit. Oh, actually I should change this, because that's not what it is anymore. Owl fudge. I should be looking at owl fudge. No, it's still the same. That's still the same. They're all old. Vite does provide built-in support for this. I guess SAS and SAS embedded are more or less the same thing, and SAS embedded is just faster. Alright, well, I mean, this is stuff that I want to do anyway, so that's fine. I think I may have just put something in the wrong spot. Dev dependencies, SAS embedded. That is not correct. Whoops. We're gonna move those. Because they have to be dev dependencies, not full dependencies. Turbo markdown is toml. So we're going to npm remove toml, because I need to move this over to the dev dependencies. We're going to amend the last commits, because it should be a dev dependency anyway. Git stash git stash pop. So everything's there, so we do npm install. Git diff package.json. Ignore the package lock. Should see a removal of sass and then an addition of npm install dev sass embedded. npm remove sass embedded. I don't want it there. I want it in. Fine, I'll do it the new way. Include dev sass embedded. I feel like I'm doing something wrong here. Because is this still in? Yeah, no, it's still there. npm remove sass embedded. npm install dev dependency. Has this changed since the last time I ran this? Save dev. I feel like, okay, that may have been the case for... Git diff, hold on. Toml? Oh, I got rid of Toml. Okay, git stash there. npm install, say, dash, I think it was capital D, isn't it? Dev, hello? Save dev. Maybe capital D was just the art. Okay, so we save Toml here. Git add -u, git diff cached. Right there. Git amend. Now we get back there. Git stash of pop. Then we replace it with sass embedded. npm install for good measure. npm or git add -u, git commit. Diff stats. What do we change here? Git diff stat cached. Svelte config. I think we might actually want to do something different. We might want to split this up into two commits here. Or not. Switch back to Svelte Vite preprocess. Newer versions of Svelte kit and related packages no longer require Svelte's preprocess for SaaS functionality, for SaaS support. Also switch to SaaS embedded for faster processing. And you know what I forgot? Forgot something. Get rebase -I auto stash auto squash Actually, I don't need to auto squash anything here. Head, go back 2. I want to reorder that, or reword this. So I forgot the link to this. Front matter. Can I get it to anything? Nope. Okay. Code based on the TOML example at this. Okay, so that's that. So now we have Vite preprocess, and we also have SAS embedded, which apparently didn't change anything. I could probably get rid of this now, because that actually doesn't get... That actually doesn't get called anywhere, so that's fine. Git amend that. Reorder imports in svelte config. I think that's fine. I don't need to elaborate more. Pretty clear from the diff. But we're still missing front matter. We still have an issue with the front matter. Error while pre-processing this, expected node got object. So the question is, why is TOML not working? What is front matter? Console.log front matter. Debug front matter. So I expect this actually to be a string. I fully expect this to be a string. Error while pre-processing this, I know that. Object debug, undefined, we score, It shouldn't have all this stuff here. It should not have all that stuff there. Or maybe that's part of the reason. Also, wait, I linked to the wrong thing. Should be this one. I have to go back 3. Rebase, auto stash. Get rebase, I auto stash. Head back 3. It's just formatter, not formatter 1. Front matter, not formatter. Front matter marker is this. Either get an object or get undefined. Now you can use this to mark front matter, setting only the marker. We'll do that. And now you get this, which is what I would expect to happen. Parse property accepts a function which allows you to provide a custom parser for front matter. This is useful if you want to use a different language for your front matter, which is what we have. Return toml.parse front matter. And the reason it gets all this stuff is like this is the correct part. That's the correct bit though. Why is it calling it for everything else? It shouldn't be calling it for everything else. But there is no parsing error. We don't get any parsing errors. Undefined. Title, looking back, dates. So this is the front matter there. That's correct. And we only have front matter here. Or rather the pluses here. So where are you getting everything else from? Console.trace. See what this does. Trace parse file overload, which this is useless. This is useless because I'm not going to be able to do anything with it. Are their docs out of date? Because everyone, I think, just uses YAML mark or front matter, which I could do, but also kind of don't, because I don't really like YAML. Okay, let's read the docs here. It says to parse. A parse property accepts a function which allows you to provide a custom parser for front matter. This is useful if you want to use a different language in your front matter. The parse function gets the raw front matter as the first argument and the messages array as the second. If parsing is successful, the function should return the parsed front matter. If there is a problem, the function should return undefined or false. Any parsing errors or warnings should be pushed into the messages array, which will be printed to console when NSFW has finished parsing. If you prefer to throw an error, you're free to do so, but it will interrupt the parsing process. I will literally just use this. But why is it getting called on everything? Is this broken? It's possible that it is broken. Oh, that's different now. Can't read properties of undefined reading open. Reading open. Why? Why is that different from the pluses? Well, I'm gonna get rid of the console trace here because it's not actually helping. So we're gonna do that. Restart the server. Go here again. Should give us something. Plugin, file, pick. Looking at error while pre-processing this. Cannot read properties of undefined reading open. What if we just change this to page.md or .svx instead? So apparently that matters. Apparently that matters. But we still get the same thing here. Expected no got object. We get a string because why? What's the result of consul.parse? Console.log. Not console log. Parse equals consul.parse this. Debug parsed. It is that. A little bit of tip here. If you have debug logs, it's good to have a string that's easy to spot so that you can spot it easily in the logs. But also later on, when you need to delete the logs, it's easy to just search for the string and delete the line. So what are we looking at? Why is this failing? Debug. I should remove this one. That's now just being noise. It's an object with a null prototype. Date. This is exactly what I expect it to be. So what's wrong with you? The parse here is saying we have an object that has these properties in it, which is exactly what I expect from this. That's exactly what I expect here, but for some reason it's not. It's not picking it up. Now, it's entirely possible that it's somewhere in the... somewhere else. What if I just remove all the content? No, the content is not the issue. Is it a layout issue? It's possible that it is a layout issue. And Vim died. It's very rare for Vim to crash like that, but it does happen on very rare occasions. Well, that's fine. Children, snippets, props, table of contents, render children, data, headings, page.data. What if we were just not have any of this and just rendered... Do we even get here? No, we must get here. I think we do have to end up here. No, we don't even get there. We don't even get there. We miss... We stop at parsing here. So the layout is not the issue. It's the sparking... it's the parsing of the markdown that's the issue. Now the question is why? Why Why is this happening? MD specs. Where is the object? Expected node got object. This is the time where we start looking things up. Typically indicates there is an issue with data. Oh, yes. As usual, the AI assistant, the AI summary isn't particularly helpful here. Down preprocessor, npm stack, resources, and the specs. Configuring. Layout. I don't need to configure MD specs, do I? Sure hope not. Yeah, one layout, you just define it like that, that's fine. V preprocessor syntax, or spread operator syntactic sugar. First render, do that. And by this point, we're already past stuff. Svelte kits, which is useful for us. Post on metadata. Where do you have this stuff in? Filter markdown on type, do this for format front matter. Ooh, actually this is going to be pretty useful, I think. Because this is kind of what we want. Kind of. A little bit. But that'll be later. We just need to figure out why we're getting the syntax errors first. I don't think this is correct either. Hold on, I'm just gonna get a drink of water. Oh, we're gonna get back to it. Okay. Do we have anything else? Svelte build fails when using MD specs. Tumble. Okay, hold on. What if we don't... I got an idea. What if we don't do... that's the wrong one. Svelte config. What if we don't do any tumble parsing and just do... return empty object. Okay, so there's an issue with this. Install it as a dev dependency, use it. Two named exports, MD specs can be used to transform documents, MD specs in the file. MD specs is a Svelte preprocessor and is the preferred way to use this library. Compile function is useful when you wish to compile NSFW documents to svelte components directly without hooking to the compiler. Then we do this. Preprocessor function is named import from the NSFW module. Add it as a preprocessor to your rollup or webpack config. Tell the svelte plugin or loader to also handle SVX files. With webpack and svelte loader, which we don't care. If you want to use NSFW without a bundler because you're your own person, then you can use svelte.preprocess directly. Which we have this. Compile. If you don't care. Options. Extensions, Smarty Pants, Layout, Remark, Plugin, Rehype plugins, Highlight front matter. To parse, which is what we want. Extensions. Default value is SVX. Whatever value you choose here must be passed to the extensions field of the rollup plugin svelte or svelte loader. If you don't change the default, you must still pass the extension name to the plugin or loader config. So we have that, and then we have extensions down there. Import markdown files as components. Add MD to both the svelte compiler and the NSFW extensions. If you use TypeScript, you should also declare an ambient module. Yuck. Then you can do that. Is it the case that I actually can't use plus page.svx? Is that why? Is that why? Because I need to have a page.ts or whatever that has its that I can't use it as plus page directly. I hope not, but that seems like it might be the case. I want to do this. I don't want to do that. Man. Oh, that's just gone. Discussion of setting up cell kits with this. Yeah, hold on. So people actually do have this. People do use this then. A page.svx for you to render, like if you need a post route, you'll need a post folder with svx in it to render anything else. Page.svx? I mean, presumably. Well, the one comment says it. And then what? And then what? And then routes, posts, you create a new thing, and then... Well, okay, hold on. So this, what happened with this was the move to svelte 2. That's the same thing as what we had there. And these specs errors out of the box. When used, when Markdown is used in page.svelte files, upstream issue. Ensure new projects using ASP create add-on and the specs have their svelte config include the extensions option pre-configured. It's already been discussed there. Interestingly enough, renaming source routes page to SVX actually solves this error. So this is actually possible. Which actually makes sense because my issue was toml parsing or clearly any sort of parsing. Because it works out of the box. If I have it as YAML parsing, then it's fine. If I have it as toml parsing, things go wrong. So if I remove parse here, call it a parse or whatever, then I have an issue because this is not YAML. So when you turn this into YAML, and we just entirely remove this, parse is not a function. I know it isn't. Yeah, I know it is. Hold on. It says if I remove marker. Okay, hold on. So if I remove this entirely, then it works. I could just put up with this. I would prefer not to, but I can put up with it if I need to, right? Because that works. That works fine. Clearly. Okay, so then we look at the GitHub repo, see if anyone has raised an issue about parsing. Combine the markdown and svelte parser might not be possible. Extend markdown and support HTML components. Svelte 4 intercepts CSS code imports. Parse markdown in front. This is from 2021. This might already be. So why does this work? Or why does this not work? Are the docs wrong? It's entirely possible that the docs are wrong. By default, NDSVEX supports YAML formatter. This is defined by enclosing the YAML in 3 hyphens. If you want to use a custom language or marker for front matter, then you can use the front matter option. The marker option defines the fence for your front matter. This defaults to dash, which corresponds to the standard triple hyphen syntax that you would normally use to define front matter. You can pass in a custom string to change the behavior. Now you can use triple plus to mark front matter. So supposedly, it says here that if you do front matter and you marker, and then you do plus, this should just allow you to do this. Got object, we're not even returning. We're returning undefined. Not assignable to type that. I don't care. It should be fine. The parse function is supposed to just work. The parse property accepts a function that allows you to provide a custom parser for front matter. This is useful if you want to use a different language. Parser gets run for all front matter as first argument messages array as the second. It's fine. Do I just suck it up and use YAML front matter? I feel like I will end up having to do that. Integrates well with front matter, providing extra, additional flexibility when authoring documents. Additionally, all these variables are exported as a single object named metadata from the context equals module scripts that can easily be imported in JavaScript. Alright. Alright, fine. Fine, we'll go with the YAML front matter. Hold on. I didn't change this back. But also it doesn't matter because I put parse with nothing in it and it still errored out. Order shouldn't matter. Oh, this does. This does. Yeah, order doesn't matter. Because it's a JavaScript object. Even though order is preserved, that is a thing, but it doesn't matter in this case. Okay, well I don't want to do YAML front matter, but I think we might have to. Kind of stuck. But there we go. I mean, that's not a hard change to do. JSON. I guess people do that, yeah. So now then the question is... It's fine, we'll get rid of this for now. I would rather not, but... Revert to using YAML front matter. Defining a parse function, or supplying a parse function to MD specs. MD specs is erroring out with expected node got object. Switching to the default YAML parsing is the least friction, lowest friction solution. Solution with the lowest friction. Least friction. Okay, that's fine. If I ever want to try to mess with the TOML front matter again, it's there. But for now, this is going to have to do. And then we figure out how to get it to work in here. Oh, this is going to result in this is going to result in a thing, wouldn't it? I could use this here. Import. Import metadata. This is not going to go well. But if it does, great, because then I don't have to duplicate things. So we'll give that a shot. Cannot find that. Don't worry about that. It doesn't seem to work, which is a shame. It's a bit of a shame. Console.log metadata. Maybe this works, maybe it doesn't. It's there. It's definitely there. It exists. Or you know why? Yeah, actually no, hold up. You can't really see it, but it actually is here. It's in the title. The title gets used in the browser title. So this is actually working. Which means I can actually put this stuff in the front matter. Ooh, this is powerful. Okay. And the reason this isn't working is because previous ones actually had an H1. So I actually have to do this. We have data title here. Release, it's at some date. And there we go. And that's not correct. It's not correct because it's missing some styles. I think. Because if you look at this, actually no. Okay, this is missing some styles, and it's not the fault of the page. Okay. Well, this is good. It means I can basically just copy what I had before, change everything to the YAML front matter, which, unfortunate, but it's easy enough to do. And then just make it work like that. Sure. Because we have the headings here. And it gets us back as a prop. Does this generate? No, it does not generate automatic IDs. Okay, remark. Plugins. Because I want... So remark uses common mark by default. I want... what's MDX? I don't think I need this. I shouldn't need this because MD specs handles that. Should. So I don't need MDX. I do want though. Custom header ID. I want this. I want this one. Because I need to be able to specify. Actually, cram down has this. It would be nice if I could use stuff like or cram down like syntax. Oh, actually, this is a problem, isn't it? Oh, I can use the syntax. That's fine. And then there's another one. Why are there two things here? Which one's better? They're both roughly the same. Pick a name prefix by remark. Free text. I don't know what this is. I don't think I want that. Man pages to add table of contents. You have flavor markdown, which I don't really care for. Normal would be nice. Remark plugins. MD specs is a simple pipeline. Your source file is first parsed into a markdown AST. This is where remark plugins run. Then it's converted to an HTML AST, which is where the rehype plugins would be run. After this is converted into a valid svelte component ready to be compiled. Remark rehype have a vibrant plugin ecosystem, and the MD specs allows you to pass any remark plugins or rehype plugins as options, which will run on the remark and rehype ASTs at the correct points in the pipeline. If you do wish to pass options to your plugins, then those array items should be an array like that. You can mix and match as needed, only providing an array or options are needed. All these examples use remark plugins and rehype plugins work exactly the same way. You said that already. So yeah, I guess we just choose one of these custom header ID things. But I like this one because it specifically calls out MDX, I guess. So yes, we'll use this one instead. Because header ID, the other one, heading ID, doesn't call it out. So this might not be compatible. Okay, we're gonna install this. So then the question is, how do you install it? You install using this. Install save dev. Should these be save dev? I'm gonna say install save dev because it might not actually need to be. Yeah, because this is an authoring time, so it should be. Well, then how do you add classes? I think I might have to use actual H1s and stuff. That's fine, whatever. At least the rest of it can be marked down. Okay. Well, I guess we can add looking back to this one. Looking back. I am not a fan, actually, of... I'm not a fan of having to do a page.ts that we end up copying and pasting everywhere. Then text. We have the H2, which is this. And then you have the other H2, which is this. So that's that. I swear we had styles already. Because this used to be... I don't know what happened to it. Oh, you know what? It probably went away with the move to either be pre-process or the migration to Svelte 5 or something. One of those two. I think we can just fix that. Because I'm surprised. Because we have it, we're supposed to have an H1 somewhere. Oh. Or you know what it is? It kept complaining about this. Unused CSS selector H126. And it's probably because of that. It was the switch to be pre-process. But we can add this, and we can go to page.svelte, and we add this. We probably want to change this so that we pull it in from the actual components later. And then I think I should have all these already. So we go back to music here. We have this down here. Well, that looks pretty good. There is something I do want to change, and it's going to be changing this from just one title to title and subtitle, and have original composition at the, below that. It's going to make it look a little bit nicer, but that's going to be a later problem. Oh, you know what it should be? This should all actually eventually make it into the page.ts. So we have title here, and we have headings, and then links, and then downloads. Yeah, I don't want to deal with that right now. So we have one more. I think this one more is good enough for as a setup for the rest of the pages, and it's just going to be a matter of moving them over. But also do some optimizations here and there, because there's definitely a lot of things that I want to change here. But this is a good foundation, and Twitch is an ad, so I should stall. But yeah, I like this so far. I got +1. It's so one of those things where you do a lot of stuff in the back end, and it's not super visible, but it's important stuff. Is there anything else we need to get status? Commit, add, looking back to a list of pages. I don't think we need anything more than that. Okay. So as I was saying during the ads, I think we will probably leave it there. We didn't add a whole lot to this. We did do a bunch of stuff in the back end to make it easier to put stuff in. There's some optimizations that we can make here. I mean, this feels kind of sketchy. It's almost like it's a circular dependency of sorts, but I think it might actually be okay. But this allows us to have our front matter feed the data for the for this, so that's good. I like that. All right. Trying to think if there's anything else we can do in the meantime, but I think I am feeling pretty tired. Next stream, tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be continuing our arrangement of Luminary by Jelly Hoshiyumi of Base Connect. I've been working on a concert band arrangement. It's been sounding pretty good. We're, I think, just before the last chorus, so we have a couple more streams of this left. But yeah, yeah. Oh, the brain fog is starting to set in. If you're not in the Discord, you can join here. This is we have a channel for programming, which this falls into. We also have a channel for Linux, which some of the previous Linux stuff falls into as well. Plus one for music making, which tomorrow's stream will fit into. For the repo, let me pull that up. Penbu vt/penbuvt.github.io. We are working in the svelte tree, svelte branch. So if you want to check that out, I will be uploading this, or I'll be pushing this shortly after the stream. This is still not deployed anywhere, but it is something you can play around with if you want. We do actually have to fix this readme too. But yeah, that is where that is. It's taking shape. I think with a little bit more work, it might be deployable. I mean, we still have to fix this. If I even still keep this. What does this even look like? Oh yeah, and I also have to fix the styles too. There's a whole lot of stuff to fix, and this is why we're not done yet. But it's getting there. Alright, I think we'll call it there. Twitch, stick around, we're going to find something to raid. YouTube, if the person I find is dual streaming as usual, I will send you there manually. Of course, can't do the proper redirect because you need 1,000 subscribers for that. We're not anywhere close to that yet. In the meantime, thank you all for coming. Hope you learned something, or if you use this time to be productive, hope you've been productive. And yeah, I guess we'll see you next time. Night. Bye. Alright. I'm gonna go raid somebody smaller today. We're gonna go visit Synthron. Never seen him before. But seems to be working on programming a music bot for a stream. So it'll be interesting to look at, I think. What language is this? This looks like C#? Yeah, C#. YouTube, we're gonna end it there. It doesn't seem to be dual streaming on YouTube, so thank you for coming. Twitch, this is the raid message if you'd like to participate. You can go ahead, copy that, paste it in when you get there. And yeah. Alright, well, enjoy the more programming. It's gonna be a different language this time. And we'll see you next time, and good night. Thank you for coming, and no, I already said that. Alright, whatever. Good night. Bye. I did it again. I said shout out instead of raid. Okay, I'll actually set up the raid this time. That's what you want to do. Okay, yeah. So if you want to participate in raid, you can copy that raid message earlier and then paste it in when we get there. Alright, now we got Alright, good night. Good night. Bye.